Alex is a hoe. That's it. I mean, if Loving You is wrong is back, but this is the final season, just in case you didn't know. I'm not going to talk about every little thing because why? I'm going to focus on the main points. Alex trying to convince Ian that she doesn't know him. And I'm looking at her like, but we actually know because of the commercials that spoiled actually a bunch of things. I won't go over what they spoiled. We know who you are, Alex, or Jennifer, or Bella, or whoever you want to be. She eventually goes and admits it. She wants to go to his house. She wants to go to his house. She can't go to hers because it's too much. It's too much. So she goes to his house. They start drinking. I already knew that her accepting an invite to go to his house would mean that she was going to eventually sleep with him again. I already knew that. It's been stressful. It's been a mess. Ian's a good guy. He is a father. And because he's a father, his whole mindset is if I have a child that's out there, I need to know. I need to know. I need to know. And she was trying to downplay it as if, oh no, there is absolutely no way that it's your child. There is no way that it's your child. Guess what? She gets into the house, he pours her some drinks, and she was like, whoo! She basically does a... Oof. Yeah, so I knew who you were the moment I saw you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And then she keeps drinking. She keeps pouring. And this is when we get finally the character development that we've been asking for the past couple of years in a matter of 3 minutes. In the final season. Okay. So Alex, and even the way how she talks. Normally she talks almost a little, soft and pretentious. Like, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean. No, I don't concur. Oh, well, that's just the I'm so, no, here's how she's talking. She's like, man, so here's the thing. I said, who is this? who this be? Homegirl tells us how she never wanted to get married. She got married because her father and her parents downplayed her intelligence, downplayed her prospects for better opportunities. And because of that, she decided for herself, you know what? Fine. They keep saying that I'm useless and all I'm good for is to go get married and have some babies. Then fine, that's what I'll do. And so then she went and agreed to marry Brad, even though she didn't actually want to get married to Brad. Alex doesn't even want children, which makes sense. It makes so much sense now because it always felt like she was just there because she had to be there. She doesn't want kids. She doesn't even want her own kids. She doesn't want the baby. She doesn't want the her kids from Brad. She keeps saying that, no, Ian, it's not yours. It can't be yours. I'm thinking, yes, it can be. Of course it can be. Why can't it be? Why can't it be his? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why is it that it can't be his? What are you trying to say? And then we get more development. So when Brad would go out on business trips, Alex would go and play around. She would go and sleep around. She would go on the dating apps, the hookup apps, and she would go and sleep around with all the men's. And when I say all the men's, all the black men's. Now we dial back. Why black? Her father is racist. Her family actually killed a couple of black people, while she was growing up. That's how racist they were. They didn't even like the fact that she was going to a school that was integrated. And yes, I used the word integrated. That's how bad it was. But Alex, and she doesn't understand it, she definitely 100% fetishizes black men. There's nothing wrong with seeing the beauty in someone who has more melanin. That's great. The problem is that she doesn't realize that she partially has such a to because her father, who she despised, had such a to it. See how that works? But she doesn't get that. Her father, which we already knew, raped her whole childhood. Or basically while she was living there constantly, her mother knew about it. And her mother was basically just like, sit there and take it. Disgusting. I know, disgusting. But that's what happened. And she, so she kept drinking and kept drinking, and the truth kept coming out. And then eventually, Ian's still like, a DNA test. How you know I'm not the father? The reality is, Alex doesn't know who the father is. That's the actual reality. Alex doesn't know who the father is. We just know it's not Randall. That's all we know. It's not Randall. It could be a myriad of black people. And what I'm going to say a little bit later is going to make me a little bit nervous, but let's go for it. They eventually get close, and I knew, oh no. They start kissing, they start making out. It doesn't matter how they got there. I knew they were just going to get there. And they're going to start to have sex. Where? Where, you may guess? Right there in the view of his front door, which is partially glass, so you can look inward and see it. Now, while that's going on, the new neighbors, the guy, what's his name? Jackson? Jeff? Brett? Who cares? His wife, her medication is kicked in, so she's cool. She already knows that Randall is a creep and weird and can't be trusted. And the best way to handle someone like him is just to ignore him. The husband was like, no, I have some words for him. I did something. He shouldn't bother you anymore. And she was like, oh, so is it the same thing that you did the last place we went? And I'm thinking, what does this mean? So apparently the neighbors were talking because his wife was doing what she was doing here. And he didn't like that. So because he didn't like that, then he decided to go and destroy the neighbor's house. And so she already knew that's his MO. I said, oh, so that's his type. He's a super nice, super protective, super caring until someone he loves is crossed. And then he decides to go and do a, see how I did that? That's his model. That's how he likes to handle things. Yikes. Yikes. Now, we jump from that to, so he keeps looking out the window, see Randall coming in, Randall coming home. Randall, for once, didn't make a huge ruckus outside. And I was wondering why. What's going on here? He got back in his car and left. But he did that because now he's at Marcy and Brad's current apartment setting. Sidebar, why are the doors open? Why are the doors open? Why are the doors open? Who's doing the thinking? Dummies? So stupid. Stupid. He sees Brad go in. Brad goes in, talks to Marcy. It's like, hey, guess what? Got divorced. She's like, oh, yay, great. They can't celebrate too long because then the babysitter calls. He was originally supposed to make them dinner. The babysitter calls, and it was cute. It was cute how he was still trying to court her, and she was allowing him to. It was nice, but that got interrupted because the babysitter was like, I need to go. I need to jet. Sorry, but your wife didn't come home. So then he calls her. Marcy's thinking, oh, this is a trick. So then she says, keep calling. Then she even calls him her number, and it doesn't work. So then she calls back again. It's like, hey, B, pick up your phone. Marcy. So then he has to leave, even though Marcy's over it. She starts calling Alex, and this is where the obsessive part kicks in. And she fills up the voicemail. Yikes. While all of that is happening, then let's switch over to dun dun. Is someone calling me? Let's switch over to dun 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 dun. Kelly! I've been doing a lot of music reaction videos, so I'm a little bit hyper. Actually, this is really my natural state. I just pretend to be calm. Anyway. Kelly is in jail, looking raggedy. The officer who's trying to help her, he's enlisting the help of the nurse. And the nurse is like, don't pull that mess that you pulled with her again, and tell her to act like she wasn't feeling well, so that she had to be admitted to the hospital. And then they do this back and forth. The back and forth ends with him essentially almost like pimping himself out in order for her to help Kelly. Even though it was realistic, it was still gross to see. When we move on from that, we see Kelly. She gets a visitor. She gets a visitor from the woman from the church. And I'm thinking, something's not right here. Something's off. Kelly doesn't want her to come in. The woman was allowed to come into the cell. And then the woman was just like, look, you are here. I'm here to help you. Open the Bible. And Kelly's like, oh, after all this rustle and puffle, she opens the Bible. And lo and behold, it's pictures and information focus on the other women that Travis went and messed with, which was perfect because she needs this. So now she can give this information to Lucien. And I'm so thankful someone is watching out for Kelly. Thank God. She was like, thank you, thank you. The woman was like, look, you don't deserve this. And it wouldn't have been godly for me to just let you go down like this. So I'm glad. I'm glad someone with a conscience came to help Sister Girl. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Kelly, for realizing, oh, I'm stuck here. So what's the worst that'll happen if I open up this Bible? Now we have, do we want to switch to Eddie? Yeah. So Eddie goes and meets his potential new boyfriend. I'm joking, but not really. Larry. Larry brings home this guy that he's going to mess around with. Larry's wife is out of town because she goes to, let's say, the lake house. She goes to the lake house when Larry wants to go and entertain. And Eddie stops him. Eddie's primarily there because he wants to know, how do you know about Pete and Andrew? And why did you throw those names around? Are you involved? Are you representing them? Are they with the FBI? What's going on? Of course, Larry isn't going to tell him, but why am I yelling? Of course, Larry isn't going to tell him, but Larry instead is going to distract Eddie. And I do believe that Eddie, see, here's the thing. Here's what people don't understand. Sexuality, aside from, fluid, whatever, for a lot of people, it's not. For some people, it is. I don't think Eddie's gay. I don't even think Eddie's repressed. I do think Eddie genuinely loves and likes and partially obsesses over women. I think the thing with Eddie is that Eddie, he's used to being in a dominating state. So to be dominated is interesting, but he won't give up the power willingly right now. So I do think what happened to him, even though he didn't like it, he partially didn't like it, he partially did. And that's a mental thing. And it's not because of, oh, he's secretly in love with guys, but just masquerades of women. I don't think so. I think that there's something a little bit open in there. And he also does a lot of drugs. So his mind is all over the place / hyper focused all at the same time. It's weird. So he leaves, but I do think that, well, actually, he doesn't really leave. We just see Larry go in his house. That's interesting. What else happened? After Brad left, Randall went in because all the doors were open and barged in and started to attack Marcy. Like, I don't want to see this. Just like how I didn't want to see Andre go Looney Tune on Empire again. But that's another story for another day. What else happened? Oh, the only thing that really happened that I even care to discuss is Justice's father came back. He came back and he, of course, it looks suspicious. He's there late at night. He's just there in a tank top and Lucien sees him. So Lucien, I'm actually not mad at what Lucien did, especially with everything that's happened with Kelly. I feel like Lucien is the only one that's actually thinking. So Lucien wanted proof, like, who are you? I didn't know that. Does he know you? Can he verify that? What's going on? Let me talk to Kelly. Can't do that. You can talk to her in the morning. I need to talk to her in the morning. Where am I going to stay? You can't stay here. The only thing I didn't like was handcuffing him. I wasn't feeling that. But aside from that, everything else I'm okay with. Even like, you can't stay in there overnight. Oh, wow, you're someone's father. That doesn't mean you can be trusted. Oh, you're someone's mother. That doesn't mean you can be trusted. Like, come on now. Let's just common sense. Natalie was like, well, can you stay? The damage is done if I let him in. So no. just the stupidity sometimes. I feel like Lucian's the only one doing thinking. Anyway, so that's it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much. This show, I'll be doing the rest of the recaps. Check out my music reaction stuff. Even though I don't get paid for that, it's a lot of fun. So I will continue to do that as well. Thanks. Oh yeah, I forgot. Esperanza and Steven. It's all cutesy how they're all there, but next week Eddie's gonna join in. So that's gonna be funny.